Stories of alien abductions surface around the globe at an alarming rate. If these events are real, many researchers ponder the question of why it takes place.
We're not exactly totally and completely sure of what is going on with this phenomenon. What we do know is that we're looking at an alien agenda that is based on the physiological exploitation of one species by another species. In other words, people feel that sperm is being taken from them, eggs are being taken from them, babies are being implanted in them and then removed. All of this is for an agenda that is being kept essentially hidden from us.
The mystery is, why are they doing it again and again and again and again? I mean, when we do a medical lab experiment, we don't have to repeat it over and over again. You know, you do 25 dogs and you get...
There are people who claim that these creatures are experimenting on us. That is a lot of rubbish. These creatures are harvesting us.
If it's John Mack, and in some way they are changing us so that we are more eco-aware, that as one of the abductees at the conference said, it's like the butterflies are coming back and trying to stop the caterpillars from eating the leaves.
Before they are returned home, the abductees are warned about an impending apocalypse unless all people on Earth drastically change their way of thinking.
We are told that the human experience, the human race, as we have known it, is becoming, or soon to be, non-viable, if not extinct. It can't survive. My own sense of it, and this is purely speculative, is that we are also being given a choice to change our ways. In other words, we were here to shepherd or steward the earth, or be responsible for a higher consciousness, and what we've become so far from the Creator, so distant from the source, that we have treated the earth like it was our property, and we are apparently a malignancy at a cosmic level now.
The message is, wake up, grow up. The sandbox that you're littering is not your own.
There's a cold, hard, cruel reality involved here that we are being picked up from biological material as an experimental protocol.
Bud Hopkins, who is one of the most gentle, thoughtful men, but who believes that this is some sort of malevolent breeding experiment in which they are taking sperm and eggs to come up with some sort of hybrid, his abductees say that it's a breeding experiment.
The focus of the entire enterprise seems to me to be unmistakably on reproductive issues.
Basic purpose of this seems to have to do with the need of the aliens to remove human ova and sperm or cells, to take our DNA, our genetic makeup, and to mix it with their own, as if what they're trying to do is to create a hybrid mix. The woman might be reabducted months or even years later and shown a tiny baby, which is a strange mix of human and alien characteristics, and they are told in the UFO that this is your child, and they are asked to bond with the child, to hold it.
They brought a young girl into the room and left her there with me, and she was a hybrid, what we consider a hybrid, although she looked a lot like me. Her hair she had really bad hair though.
ETs seem to do a variety of reproductive processes with people. Some of the small gray beings seem to take eggs from the woman's ovaries and then combine those in their own craft with the reproductive material from their species, and then they implant it again into the woman's womb, and that fetus grows for 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 months until the Greys will extract that again, and the woman is no longer pregnant.
While there may be a medical explanation for the end of the pregnancy, some ufologists believe the missing fetuses are stolen by the aliens, only to be raised in tanks until they reach maturity.
I was shown little versions of this creature swimming in huge cylinders made out of what looked like glass, in a pinkish liquid, like ugly little frogs inside the liquid. They looked like aborted human fetuses.
And these fish tanks were one on top of each other and one next to each other. So the whole wall was a bank of these fish tanks. Within these fish tanks was a liquid. It was between water and a gel. There was movement within the water, this liquid, and there was like a sparkle inside the liquid, and there was a blue, a luminescence to this liquid. But the most important thing was, inside each of these tanks was what I can best describe as some sort of embryo. They were most definitely not human.
Their connection with us, particularly on an emotional level, is very slight. It's as if they don't understand human emotions. And just as they have been trying to learn about human reproduction, I think they're trying to learn about human emotion. I think they're very interested in simple things to us, like how we care for our children, how we care for one another, how romantic relationships begin. All the things that make us most human, they seem very interested in that because it seems that they don't have that themselves.
For years and years and years, people would write to me and say, oh, well, are adult hybrids walking among us? And the answer is absolutely not. There's no evidence whatsoever that that's the case. But the evidence that I've been getting recently in terms of the goals of the program is that that might be the case. I don't really know yet. It's possible. Then I began to have a series of very bizarre accounts, but once again fitting patterns that people were saying, where they know that in the future they have a job to do. These are abductees. And the job is to stand on the corner, and when panicked people come by to tell them, it's okay, everything is all right, just keep moving this way, and they would practice that. And they would sort of do that, and they knew that in the future this is what they would have to do. And then I began to understand that what they were telling these abductees, what these beings were telling these abductees, is that ultimately this is an integration program into the society, not with gray aliens most likely, but with these hybrids who look quite human.
These beings said that man was the product of externally corrected evolution. They said that man, as a species, had been genetically altered 65 times. They refer to humans as containers, yet I don't know what we're containers of.
And my own conclusions over the last 30 years, I've pretty well concluded that the human race is indeed a hybrid race, that we have very likely been seeded here on this planet, and that I have concluded that we have been continually genetically manipulated on this planet for the last several 100,000 years. And it's still going on. That process is still underway.